Hello and welcome back to Taking It with Mike and JD. I'm JD,
And I'm like,
and today we're going to be doing our picks for Week 12 of the 2022 NFL season. So last week, Mike went 8-6, and I went 7-7, which means Mike added to his one-game lead and now leads by two in the overall standings. Mike is at 83, 63 and 1, and I'm at 81, 65 and 1. So the smallest amount of leads just went up by one. So I gotta put in a good week this week to at least tie probably.
yep.
So that being said, so to my fellow Americans, I hope you guys have a happy Thanksgiving this week. Watching football and stuff like that, it's been fun since they added like the three games instead of just two. So we get to watch football all day, get stuffed with turkey and potatoes, and sit on the couch and watch football. It sounds like a pretty good Thursday to me. So, our first game for Thanksgiving is the early Thanksgiving game, which is Buffalo at Detroit. So, how do you see this one going?
Um, yeah. Look, I think Buffalo wins this. I can't see the Lions getting over the top.
Yeah, it's weird. Like the Lions will like have games when they come out and they look really good. They beat the
Mm.
Giants last week pretty well in New York. I think what it might be an advantage to Buffalo is they played in Buffalo last week. They played Cleveland in Buffalo last week because of the snowstorm, so they sort of already
Mm.
got acclimated to the stadium. So it might not be a true away game for them this week because they,
Mm.
short week, they're going to the same place. But yeah, Buffalo's a 10-point favorite right now. I think that's pretty good. It wouldn't surprise me if Detroit won only because they typically play pretty well at home, but I can't really see, like you said, Buffalo not pulling this one out.
Yeah. So next up, we've got the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm gonna have to go with Dallas. They bounced back and they beat the crap out of the Vikings last week. The Giants lost to, Detroit. I think this is where the Giants' season starts to fall apart a little bit, just because they're running into better teams. But Dallas playing at home, they should be they should be feeling good coming off of beating Minnesota. So I'm gonna take Dallas.
I'm going to take Dallas as well. I can't see them losing that momentum. Well, that's huge momentum. The large win they had over them, over what is a very good Vikings team. So Dallas for me as well.
Especially on the road, yeah. So the final Thursday night football or Thanksgiving night football game is the New England Patriots at the Minnesota Vikings.
Yeah, I think the Vikings bounce back here. I think they probably would beat the Patriots anyway, but bit of extra incentive after that embarrassing loss. So the Vikings for me.
Yeah, you would hope that primetime Kirk Cousins doesn't show up because he typically doesn't do that well in prime time, which is what this game is. But the Patriots, they won. I don't want to say on a fluke. They won on a last second punt return. So they didn't play great their offense last week. Like I said, I think Minnesota is kind of chomping at the bit to get out there and keep that sting fresh in their mind from just a few days ago. So I will also go with Minnesota.
Right. So next up, we've got the Denver Broncos at the Carolina Panthers.
So again, Denver is favorited. Every time we do these picks and I look up the odds, Denver's always favorited, and they're bad.
Mm.
And I know that Carolina is bad, but I just don't have any faith in Denver. They'll lead and then they'll blow it somehow. They don't score over 20 points. Carolina's playing at home. I think I'm gonna have to go with Carolina in this one until sort of like I said before, Denver can sort of prove to me that they're good. Carolina played the Ravens pretty well last week up until the last few minutes of the
Mm.
game, so I'm gonna go Carolina.
Yeah, yeah. Denver has, they've lost too much for me to still be on the, they'll turn this around kind of thing. So pretty much I can't back them until that changes. So Panthers for me as well.
All right. So the next game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I'm going to pick the Buccaneers. I'm not overly confident. To be honest, I just don't know what I'm going to get with the Bucs this year, but I am going to pick them in this one.
So, Tom Brady sort of, they were 3-5. He lost a bunch of games in a row. They were under 500. Now they're back leading their division. Tom Brady's the type of guy where you give him any momentum and it's over, really. So Atlanta's faltered. Tampa's right back on top of the division there. They have a weak division. Cleveland is at home. Tampa's, just a 3-point favorite on the road, but Cleveland did play pretty well against Buffalo. It's hard to pick against Tom Brady, though. That's what I'm kind of hesitant with, because you kind of never bet against the guy. But honestly, my initial gut feeling was to take Cleveland, so I'm going to stick with that.
So next up, we got Baltimore at Jacksonville.
I'll go with Baltimore. They didn't play great against Carolina, but Jacksonville hasn't really played that well after the first few games of the year, and Baltimore's still Baltimore, so Baltimore.
Yeah, I'm going Baltimore as well. I can't see them losing to the Jags.
Our next game is the Houston Texans at the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Miami. I mean, I think that's pretty clear. Like, if Houston got the upset, I'd be shocked.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about before, Miami with Tua has just been kind of an offensive juggernaut and sort of unstoppable. So if Tua's in there right now, especially against a bad team, I will also take Houston.
So next up, we've got the Chicago Bears at New York. Jets, that is.
I think the Jets bounce back, so I'm gonna take New York.
I'm gonna take the Jets as well. I think it'll be close, and this is a bit of a toss-up for me, but I am, tipping-wise, I am being a bit strategic here. So when it's close, I don't want to pick against the way you've gone. So at least I don't give up the point if there's somehow an upset. So
you son of
Jets
a bitch.
For me.
I think what we need to, I think what we'll need to do is have us submit our picks to a third party before, and then read our picks out just on the video, so that way we don't. We don't play that crap.
we might need to do that.
So our next game is the Cincinnati Bengals at the Tennessee Titans.
I don't know. I found this one pretty tough to pick as well. But I am going to go with the Bengals. I feel like we made the Titans look way better than they are. So I'm going the Bengals.
Yeah, I think, Cincinnati, at least their defense, they came out and played better in the second half, but, Cincinnati is favored on the road, but I just think that Tennessee playing on home, and they, like you said, they may have looked better than they are against Green Bay, but, momentum is given to them, and they made plays when they needed to, so I'm going to stick with the home team and go with Tennessee.
So next up, we've got the Atlanta Falcons at the Washington Commanders. I still almost get their name wrong.
Yep. I'm gonna stick with Washington. They're on a roll right now. They're 6-5. They're sort of kind of right in their division race, but they're more so in the wild card race. But Atlanta is just falling off a cliff, so I'm gonna stick with Washington in this one.
Me too, for the same reasons.
All right. So on to our mid-afternoon games. So our first game is the Los Angeles Chargers at the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep. So I'm gonna take the Chargers. I think they'll be too much. I think Herbert's kind of started to rev up a little bit. So Chargers for mine.
Yeah, I mean they lost on a last second Mahomes touchdown really to win by a field goal. Arizona has just been bad this year, so yes, the Chargers are 5-5, but Arizona's worse, and they're playing in a dome. Herbert should be letting it fly, so I'm gonna go with the Chargers also.
Fantastic. So next we've got the Las Vegas Raiders at the Seattle Seahawks.
Seattle. As much as we talk about Hall of Fame quarterback Derek Carr, Seattle's coming off the bye. They lost a tough one against Tampa 2 weeks ago, but I just think I still want to roll with Seattle right now. They're still at the top of their division. Las Vegas really isn't that good. They're not playing that great, so I'm going to stick with Seattle.
Yeah, look, I think Seattle will be just too good for future Hall of Famer Derek Carr.
So the next one is the Los Angeles Rams against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, Chiefs for me. Pretty simple, this one for me.
Yeah, it's the Rams have just been bad this year, and now they got to travel to play Kansas City. It smells like disaster to me, So
yeah, they're another team which the whole time I've expected them to turn it around, but it's too long into the season to be thinking that anymore.
So I'm also taking Kansas City.
So next up, we've got the New Orleans Saints at the San Francisco 49ers.
San Fran, they're starting to get their offense in gear. They played really well last night, so they could make a run right now. I think they're back up to 500 at 5-5, so they're at 6-5 and 5-5, but whichever. They're playing good right now is my point, so I'm going to stay with San Francisco.
Yep, same here. 49ers just will be way too good for them.
All right. It looks like Philadelphia's on a bye week.
They do.
Yeah, so
they do have the bye.
It looks like Philadelphia and Indianapolis have a bye week. No. So the next game is the Sunday night primetime game is the Green Bay Packers at the Philadelphia Eagles.
I am going to be a bit spicy here. I'm actually going to take the Packers. Everything on paper says no, but they just, they've been so crazy this year. I could see them, pulling the upset and just, which will achieve nothing, and everyone will just be like, well, what the fuck? Like, where has that been?
Yeah, it's interesting because Philadelphia, they lost against the Commanders, and then they didn't play well at all against Indianapolis, only winning with a few minutes left in that game. So if there's any time for Green Bay to pull off an upset, it would kind of be right now with Philadelphia sort of faltering. And like I said, if Green Bay's defense makes those couple plays and their special teams make that type of play, and Aaron Rodgers actually executes on it, I could see them winning, but I'm still going to have to stick with Philly in this one.
And our final game is this the other bye this week, the Colts. The Steelers at the Colts.
You know what? I mean, Indianapolis isn't a very good team either. They're not really that good. But this one, honestly, is a toss-up to me, really. I mean, Indianapolis is favorited right now, but Steelers get an extra day. The Colts have played pretty well under Jeff Saturday, but I'm going to have to stick with Indianapolis. I'm going to go Indy in this one.
I'm also going to take Indy. I think it'll be fairly close. And I don't think Steelers will be as bad as I'm joking around, but I still think the Colts will win.
All right, so that was week 12. This is one of the rare weeks within the middle mid to late portion of the season where there are no buys this week. So every team, all 32 teams are playing. So we got a full docket of 16 games this week. Please let us know your selections down in the comments. And if you haven't yet, please consider subscribing. And we thank you for watching our video. We hope you have a nice day.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.